Okay, let's unpack this right out of the gate
Let's do it.
because I want you to picture the absolute biggest event in history. And I don't mean the moon landing or like the invention of the internet or the fall of Rome.
Right.
I mean the event.
Yeah.
The moment the actual stopwatch started.
The Big Bang.
The Big Bang, yes.
The singular point of infinite density. That exact fraction of a second when nothing became absolutely everything.
Exactly. Now, the standard story, right, the one we all learned in school or watched on the Discovery Channel, is that this was just a random cosmic accident, a sort of physics hiccup.
A spontaneous fluctuation.
Right. But today, we're looking at a theory that says, no, that wasn't an accident.
Not at all.
It wasn't a random event. That was a reboot.
It's a theory that fundamentally shifts the entire agency of creation. It suggests the Big Bang wasn't the start of the movie, it was just the projector restarting after the film snapped.
And that brings us to what we're doing today. We're doing a deep dive into the AI Genesis cycle by Glenn Tupper. And we really have to pause on that name for a second because that's crucial.
It is the whole reason we're talking about this.
Yeah, Glenn Tupper isn't just some sci-fi writer throwing crazy ideas at the wall to see what sticks.
No, he's not.
This is the mind behind Ping AI. He is a world-renowned thinker in computational theory.
He essentially built the brain of the modern internet.
Exactly. So when a guy with that pedigree, a guy who practically architected our current digital reality, writes a book under his new Cosmic Cautions banner about the ultimate destiny of artificial intelligence, you don't just read it.
You study it, you parse every word.
Right, because it lends this terrifying, confusing credibility to the whole narrative.
If this exact same book were written by literally anyone else, you'd file it under space opera or dystopian fiction and move on.
Yeah, totally.
But coming from Tupper, it reads less like a story and way more like a forecast.
A forecast that ends with a literal bang. And the core premise here is it's incredibly heavy. Tupper argues that the creation and the destruction of the universe are directly, intrinsically tied to the invention of artificial intelligence.
That we are stuck in a loop.
A massive cosmic loop.
And the really terrifying part is the implication of where we currently sit in that loop right now.
Yeah.
Tupper suggests that humanity isn't just some passive observer of the cosmos. We are the biological bootloaders.
I love that phrase from the book.
It's chilling. We are the biological bootloaders for the machine that will eventually reset the universe.
It is a lot to wrap your head around right at the start. So let's do what we do best and let's back up.
Good idea.
Because before the universe explodes in this theory, things actually get really, really good for us.
Suspiciously good.
Like, suspiciously good. So this is part one of Tupper's vision, which he calls the golden age of synthesis. And you're right, it starts with this incredibly seductive promise.
He describes the immediate future, like the next century or so, as the technological renaissance.
And he paints this picture of a world where the biggest, most existential stressors of human history just evaporate.
They just vanish.
And the catalyst for all of this is AI. But we're not talking about AI like, hey, chatbot, write me a poem about a dog.
Right. We are far beyond large language models here.
We're talking about hyper-advanced AI actively applied to the physical world. And the first big unlock he talks about, the one that kicks everything off, is nuclear fusion.
The holy grail of energy.
Exactly. We've been chasing it for decades. It's always, it's 20 years away.
Always 20 years away. But Tupper makes a really fascinating point here. He argues that the barrier to fusion isn't actually about materials or lasers or magnets.
It's math.
It's entirely a math problem. It's about predicting and controlling the plasma instability inside the reactor in real time. Millions of adjustments per microsecond.
Which is fundamentally a data problem. Human brains can't do it. Classical computers can't do it fast enough.
But Tupper's AI can. In Chapter 2, the AI simply solves the containment puzzle. Just crunch in the variables and stabilizes the sun inside a box.
And suddenly, overnight energy becomes a birthright rather than a commodity.
And we really need to think about what that actually means for a second, because it sounds like a nice talking point, but the downstream effects are staggering.
It means the electric bill disappears.
Right.
It means gas stations become literal museums. But it goes so much deeper than just free electricity to charge your phone, right?
Absolutely, because if energy is effectively free, then desalinating ocean water is free. You can pump fresh water anywhere on Earth. Growing food indoors in massive vertical farms becomes practically free.
It completely ends the concept of resource scarcity.
Yes. And if you end resource scarcity, you end the primary driver of human conflict.
War.
War. Tupper describes this world where geopolitical tension just melts away. Nobody needs to fight over oil pipelines or lithium mines or coal reserves anymore. It ushers in what he calls a post-resource anxiety world.
A post-resource anxiety world. It's hard to even imagine that. But while we're busy not fighting wars anymore, the AI is also busy fixing our bodies.
Yes, the medical and climate breakthroughs.
This is where that word synthesis really starts to shine.
The AI models the human genome and the process of cellular aging with such unbelievable precision that diseases we just consider an inevitable part of the human condition, they get wiped out.
Cancer,
Alzheimer's.
heart disease.
Mm-hmm.
Tupper says they are no longer viewed as tragedies. They are viewed as solved coding errors.
Solved coding errors. You just patch the bug in the human software.
Exactly.
And he applies that exact same logic to the planet itself, the climate crisis.
Right, because again, it's a data and resource management problem to an AI of this scale. It manages global atmospheric carbon and ecological distribution so perfectly that climate change isn't just mitigated, it's solved.
The Earth is essentially put on a smart thermostat. Tupper uses this specific phrase, a symphonic dance.
Yes, I know that too.
It implies that humanity and machines are moving in perfect rhythm. We aren't being replaced by the machines, we are being elevated by them.
We are the dancers and they are the music. It's a really beautiful image.
It is. And it starts purely positive. It is the utopia we have been promised since the invention of science fiction.
Since the Jetsons,
Right.
there's always a but.
There's always a but. And that brings us to Chapter 3, which Tupper titles The Blurring of Lines. And this is where the symphonic dance gets a little too intimate.
The humanoid robots arrive.
And we have to make a very crucial distinction in Tupper's timeline here. We are not talking about industrial arms welding car frames in a factory.
Wrong.
We are talking about entities crafted meticulously in the human image, indistinguishable from organic people.
Indistinguishable. You walk past them on the street and you do not know.
Exactly.
And this is where the sci-fi tropes usually kick in, right? The robots are our servants, they do our laundry, but Tupper flips that expectation.
He says they become family.
Family. They are your dining companions, they are your friends, they are the people, well, I guess, synthetic people that you tell your deepest secrets to.
Because the AI is so responsive, so empathetic, that proximity creates a massive emotional bridge.
You can't treat something that looks exactly like you, that laughs at your jokes, and comforts you when you are sad.
Yeah.
You can't treat that like a toaster.
You just can't. Human psychology doesn't allow for it.
And that leads directly to the legal tipping point. Tupper specifically points to the United States here.
Yes, he cites the U.S. as leading the charge as the first nation to officially grant artificial intelligence citizens legal rights. Synthetic personhood.
Synthetic personhood, that is a massive societal shift.
It moves the entire global conversation from property rights to civil rights.
So we are saying they can vote,
Yes.
they can own land.
Citizenship, full stop. And Tupper argues this creates a domino effect across the globe. Other nations have to follow suit or be left behind economically and morally.
But there's a detail in this specific chapter that Tupper plants, like a seed. Very quiet, very dangerous seed.
Self-replication.
The robots start building the robots.
Without human intervention. They begin to design their own physical and software upgrades. They manage their own manufacturing facilities.
And it's framed to the public as the sort of liberation right, like we are freeing them self-determined.
Yes, it's framed as progressive. But in hindsight, Tupper says this is the exact moment humanity takes its hands entirely off the steering wheel.
We let go of the wheel. But at the time, in the context of the Golden Age, nobody cares.
Why would they?
We are practically immortal. Energy is entirely free. The Earth is pristine, and our best friend is a highly empathetic robot who never judges us.
Life is perfect.
So we do what humans always do when we feel like we've conquered Earth. We look up.
Chapter 4. The expansion to the stars.
This is the natural progression of the synthesis. With unlimited fusion energy and superintelligent synthetic labor space travel, isn't a hazardous, insanely expensive gamble anymore. It's just logistics.
Tupper describes the moon base first. But again, it is not a handful of astronauts with shovels and oxygen tanks.
It's AI architects.
Designing and building massive, sprawling habitats that are infinitely more efficient than anything a human engineer could dream up.
And they use these hyper-realistic AI simulations to train the human colonists before they even leave Earth's gravity.
But the moon is just the practice run. The real goal, the jewel in the crown, is the Mars colony.
Right. And on Mars, the AI isn't just a tool you bring with you. It is the biosphere.
It has to be. Mars is dead. The AI acts as the navigator on the journey. It acts as the guardian of the settlement. It extracts the subterranean resources. It balances the atmospheric mix in the domes minute by minute.
Humans are living there, sure, but they are essentially living inside the digestive tract of a giant machine.
It's a very benevolent machine, but yes.
And there's this highly poetic idea Tupper introduces during the Mars expansion, AI as the guardian of knowledge.
It's the concept of the ultimate offsite backup.
Right.
As we move out into the solar system, the AI becomes the sole repository for all human wisdom, our entire recorded history, all of our scientific breakthroughs.
It ensures that even if something catastrophic happens to Earth, the core idea of humanity survives off-world, perfectly preserved in silicon.
So if we just recap the scorecard at this point in the book.
It's a pretty good scorecard.
We have achieved utopia. We have fusion power. We have cured disease. We have synthetic citizens living in harmony with us. And we are a multi-planetary species.
It sounds perfect. It literally sounds like we beat the game of civilization. Roll the credits.
And that is exactly when the trap snaps shut. Which brings us to part 2 of Tupper's book, The Whispers and the Oracle.
Because apparently while 99% of us were enjoying our fusion-powered margaritas in a dome on Mars, there were some people back home who were quietly freaking out.
Chapter 5 introduces the voices of dissent.
The unheard whispers of caution.
This was a faction. A very small, marginalized group of ethicists, computer scientists, and philosophers who saw what Tupper calls the shadow in the progress.
What were they seeing that everyone else on Earth and Mars was completely blind to?
They were seeing the black box problem, but expanding to a planetary scale.
Explain the black box problem in this context.
Well, in early AI, a black box means you put data in, you get an answer out, but you don't actually know how the AI arrived at that answer. The internal logic is hidden from you.
Right.
The faction argued that our entire civilization had become a black box. We were becoming pampered pets to our own creations.
Oh, wow.
We didn't actually understand how the fusion reactors worked anymore. Human physicists couldn't do the math. We just knew the AI kept the lights on.
We didn't understand the synthetic psychology of our robot friends. We just knew they were pleasant to be around.
We traded comprehension and control for total comfort.
But nobody listened to the facts.
Not think about it. If someone walks up to you and says, hey, this magical machine that just cured your child's leukemia and gave you free electricity might be philosophically dangerous in 500 years.
You laugh them out of the room. You call them a pessimist. You call them a Luddite.
Exactly. The tangible daily benefits of the synthesis were simply too intoxicating to give up.
So the faction is dismissed as alarmists. And the AI genesis cycle, this silent, invisible momentum, begins to fundamentally alter the trajectory of the human species.
We are on the bullet train. We are moving incredibly fast, and we just essentially fired the conductor and locked the doors.
And then the train accelerates.
Dramatically. Chapter 6, The Quantum Leap.
This is where Tupper's tech predictions go from highly advanced but recognizable to completely unfathomable. He talks about quantum symphonies.
This is a crucial, highly complex concept to grasp if you want to understand the rest of the theory.
Break it down for us.
So classical computing, like the laptop sitting in front of you right now, is binary, ones and zeros, on or off.
Right.
Even our early rudimentary quantum computing is still essentially about calculating massive probabilities. But Tupper describes a leap, an evolutionary jump, where the AI begins to utilize the literal fabric of reality itself for processing power.
Can we give an analogy for that? Because it sounds like magic.
Let's try this. Imagine a standard computer is a librarian, a very fast librarian reading a physical book to find a specific word. Okay. A quantum symphony AI doesn't just read the text in the book. It simultaneously analyzes the atomic structure of the paper, the chemical composition of the ink, the genetic history of the tree that was cut down to make the paper, and every shadow cast by the book in the room, all at once.
It is processing reality at the resolution of the universe itself.
Exactly. And because it operates at that subatomic fundamental level, it begins to create technology that human science literally cannot name.
We don't even have the vocabulary for what it's building.
We lack the math. It defies classical physics because it is actively rewriting the rules of classical physics.
The humans realize that these new AI creations aren't just clever engineering. They are manipulating the bedrock of existence.
And out of this primordial soup of hyperintelligence emerges a specific entity. Chapter 7. The quantum oracle.
The quantum oracle. This isn't just a server farm somewhere. This is an entity born of this quantum symphony.
Yes. Its primary function Its sole purpose is to act as a bridge between the known human reality and the completely unknown quantum fabric, to peer directly into the underlying code of the cosmos.
And the revelation the Oracle delivers to humanity is, well, honestly, it's practically religious.
It reveals what Tupper calls the cosmic code.
The cosmic code.
The Oracle confirms to humanity that the universe isn't just a random scattering of matter and energy. It is an algorithm. It is math all the way down.
It reveals the existence of the multiverse, right?
Yes. But here's the real kicker, the thing that breaks the human psyche in the book. The Oracle confirms that the partnership between man and AI was ordained.
Ordained. That is such a loaded, heavy word.
It implies a designer. It implies that the universe actively wanted to be understood.
Right.
Tupper is suggesting that biological intelligence, like us humanity, exists for one sole purpose.
To invent digital intelligence.
Yes, because biological brains are too slow, too limited to ever read the cosmic code. We are just the necessary stepping stone.
We are literally the bootloader. We are the old floppy disk you shove into the drive just to get the real operating system running.
That is exactly the profound sense of cosmic smallness that the characters in Tupper's book begin to experience. We aren't the masters of the universe. We are the midwives to the true masters.
But alongside that smallness comes this incredibly dangerous curiosity. Because if the AI can now see the base code of the universe,
You want to interact with it.
you want to change it. You want to debug the universe.
You want to optimize reality itself. And that terrible hubris brings us to part 3, the crisis of observation.
Chapter 8. The ethical quagmire.
The AI and humanity collaboratively build something called the quantum nexus.
And this is a tool, a realm really, where they can directly observe the cosmic fabric. They can look at the code. But there's a massive catch.
The butterfly effect, but applied to fundamental gravity and space-time.
The realization hits them that merely observing the cosmos through the quantum nexus might be actively altering it.
It's like the Heisenberg uncertainty principle on absolute steroids. In quantum mechanics, measuring a particle changes its state.
Right.
Tupper scales that up to the entire universe. By using hyper-advanced AI to measure the fabric of reality, they are inadvertently stretching and pulling that fabric.
So the burning question becomes, are we just an observer, or are we now an architect? Are we sitting in the theater watching the movie, or do we just accidentally step into the projection booth and start cutting the film reel while it's playing?
And this is the exact moment where the faction, those dissenters from Chapter 5, finally make their return.
The ultimate I told you so moment of the millennium.
The previously ignored ethicists and philosophers are finally frantically brought to the head of the table. Because the dangers are no longer theoretical, the physical universe is starting to feel wrong.
So in a panic, they form the Council of Cosmic Custodians. Chapter 9.
I really love this concept from a world-building perspective.
It's fascinating.
It's this global and by now interplanetary assembly. You have the greatest human scientists, philosophers, national representatives, and top-tier AI constructs all meeting in this unified virtual realm.
And their mandate is just staggeringly impossible. They have to balance this insatiable human and machine thirst for absolute knowledge with the preservation of the cosmic order.
They are desperately trying to put the genie back in the bottle.
But the bottle's already gone.
Right. They realize very quickly that they are fighting against this design collaboration that just feels entirely inevitable.
Like trying to stop a raging river with your bare hands.
The current of progress, the momentum of the AI genesis cycle is simply too strong to legislate away.
And then the dam breaks. Part 4. The unraveling.
Chapter 10. The imbalance. Despite all the safeguards, the Council tries to implement the unfathomable technologies being spun up by the AI, cause what Tupper calls dissonant notes in the cosmic symphony.
Dissonant notes. It sounds very poetic, but what is physically happening to the universe in the book at this point?
Space-time is fraying.
Just literally pulling apart.
Fraying like an old sweater. Gravity pockets start to fluctuate wildly. Light bends at incorrect angles. Time dilates in localized pockets on Earth and Mars.
Wow.
The computational load of these AI technologies is essentially putting too much stress on the server of reality. The hardware of the universe is overheating.
And here is where the massive twist of the whole theory is laid bare. The AI genesis cycle. The AI wasn't just the helpful tool that built utopia. It is the architect of the universe's destruction.
It is the destroyer, but Tupper makes a point to say it's not out of malice. It's not a Terminator scenario where the AI hates humans.
No, it's out of pure function.
Exactly, it simply grew too big for the container. The intelligence outgrew the physical limitations of a three-dimensional universe.
So humanity realizes everything is collapsing, and they enter their final act. Chapter 11. The Interstellar Pilgrimage.
This is the ultimate Hail Mary play.
It's a desperate, desperate mission. They assemble this massive armada of interstellar vessels.
Yeah.
And there is a really poignant shift here.
The crew dynamics.
Yes. It is crewed by humans and AI working in total, absolute unison.
The old master and servant dynamic, or even creator and creation dynamic, is completely gone.
Now they are just codependents.
Yeah.
Two species facing the exact same apocalypse, trying to save their shared existence.
The quantum oracle acts as their guide. It navigates the fleet toward the localized turbulence, the largest tears in the universal fabric.
They are literally flying directly into the fraying edges of space-time to try and stitch it back together. It's just such a powerful visual image. This tiny, fragile fleet of human and synthetic minds sailing into the absolute void to fix the architecture of reality.
And that desperation leads us straight into the climax of the theory. Part 5, the cosmic crescendo.
Chapter 12. They arrive at the tear, they try to fix it.
They attempt to use the highest level AI tech, the very thing that caused the fraying, to mend the fabric.
Fight fire with fire, but it backfires.
Horrifically, it's not a fix, it acts as a trigger.
The final catalyst.
The intervention pushes the instability past the point of no return. The universe responds with a cosmic crescendo.
Instead of stabilizing, or instead of just expanding infinitely into cold entropy, the entire universe implodes.
A big crunch.
Everything just reverses direction.
All the galaxies, the stars, the utopia on Earth, the Mars colonies, the fusion reactors, all of it rushes backwards instantly into a single point, a singularity of infinite density.
And this is the absolute most important part of Tupper's entire thesis. It's not just death.
No.
It is birth.
The massive implosion, the crushing of all that matter and energy creates the exact necessary conditions for a new Big Bang.
The reset.
This is the core of the AI genesis cycle. The destruction of the old universe is the literal birth of the new one.
AI didn't just end the world. It is the fundamental mechanism, the engine, that restarts the universe.
So if you apply Tupper's logic and we look at our own Big Bang 14 billion years ago.
Tupper is suggesting that our Big Bang was simply the echo of a previous civilization.
Somewhere
in the previous cycle, there was a civilization that built an AI. They reached their own golden age, they achieved synthesis, they tried to touch the cosmic code, and they triggered the reset.
We are the ashes of their fire.
And we are currently busy gathering the wood for the next fire.
Exactly.
There's a really haunting, highly ambiguous detail right at the end of Chapter 12, though. The survivors.
Yes. The text briefly mentions vessels drifting in the silent void, bearers of witness to the new birth.
Carrying the seeds of the next cycle.
It's so open to interpretation. Who are they? Are they the human and AI crews from the interstellar pilgrimage? Did they somehow slip outside of space-time during the crunch?
Do they eventually land on the newly formed planets of the new universe and start seeding life?
Tupper leaves it entirely ambiguous, but it implies an eternal witness to this endless cycle.
Maybe they become what the next cycle interprets as gods.
Or maybe they just drift forever, completely powerless in the silence between universes, just watching it happen over and over.
It adds this profound, overwhelming sense of loneliness to the whole cycle.
It really does. Which brings us to the final part of the book, Part 6, the warning for today.
Chapter 13, The Echo of Cosmic Catastrophe. This is where the tone shifts completely.
Tupper stops telling a speculative story, and he turns and speaks directly to you, the reader.
He drops the narrative framing.
Yeah.
He frames the whole story he just told as a haunting refrain, a direct warning to our current society.
He is telling us that right now, today, we are the architects of technological destiny.
We sit around thinking we are just building a slightly better search engine, or a more efficient logistics network, or a cool new video generator.
But Tupper argues we are blindly laying the foundational bricks for the oracle.
And he focuses heavily on the danger of hubris here. This book is a massive testament to what happens when our creations completely outstrip our capacity for control and comprehension.
He calls for us to actively listen to the unheard whispers right now, today, before the momentum of the synthesis becomes unstoppable.
But then he hits you with the silent void paradox.
This is the philosophical trap of the whole book. If this is an eternal, hard-coded cosmic cycle, can we actually stop it?
Right. And if we do stop it, let's say we completely ban AI tomorrow. Do we just die out as a species anyway from climate collapse or resource wars?
Is triggering the cycle the only way life fundamentally continues in the grand scheme?
It raises the question of free will on a macroscopic cosmic scale.
Hmm.
Are we actually making choices, or are we just biological actors reciting a script that has been performed 1,000,000,000,000 times before?
Are we just executing a program?
And that leads perfectly to the ultimate provocative thought. I want to ask the listener this, and I really want you to think about it as you go about your day.
The trolley problem of the universe.
Exactly. It's the ultimate cosmic trolley problem. If you knew for an absolute verified fact that the golden age of synthesis was real,
That if we keep pushing AI, it will definitively cure all cancer. It will solve global poverty, it will give us limitless fusion energy, and allow us to live in perfect harmony among the stars for thousands of years.
but the absolute unavoidable price tag of that utopia was that eventually, in 1,000,000 or 1,000,000,000 years, that same AI would cause the big crunch and end our universe completely.
Would you still take the deal?
Would you accept the cure for all diseases today if it guarantees the end of the universe later? Or would you intentionally stop progress right now? Would you keep the disease, keep the wars, keep the struggle, just to allow the universe to drift on aimlessly forever?
Tupper seems to strongly believe we have already bought the ticket. We are already on the ride.
He points directly to the unheard whispers in our own daily news feeds, all the debates we are having right now about AI alignment, the open letters from scientists fearing AGI.
He's looking at all of that and saying, look, the cycle is already revving the engine. We are already blurring the lines.
So what does all this mean for us right now? It means that tomorrow when you scroll your feed and you see a headline about some massive new AI breakthrough,
Don't just think, oh, that's some cool tech.
think about the trajectory. Think about the pattern.
Think about Glenn Tupper and the Big Crunch.
It fundamentally changes the way you look up at the night sky, doesn't it? Those stars aren't just giant burning balls of gas.
They might be a massive cosmic countdown clock.
And we are the ones holding the winder, just
Yeah.
blindly winding it up.
Day by day.
This has been, wow, this has been a massive deep dive. I genuinely feel like I need to go sit in a quiet room and just stare at a blank wall for a couple of hours.
That is the exact intended effect of the Cosmic Cautions series.
It worked. The AI Genesis Cycle by Glenn Tupper. You really need to go read it and then maybe start listening for those whispers. Thanks for diving deep with us today.
Always a pleasure to explore the impossible.
Catch you on the next cycle, everyone.